All right, it's a Sunday afternoon down in lively south end of Bridgeport, Connecticut. So the shot I'm showing you right now is right from Arniston Avenue. And it used to be the estate of Richard Teller Crane, who was the president and owner of Crane Company. Bridgeport, Connecticut, a Chicago-based company, had a plant in Bridgeport. Okay, I'm approaching what is now Seaside Village. And I'm going to give you a little history on Seaside Village. I'm walking down along Arniston Avenue. At one time, the family of the Rileys used to live here, one of the last units. So here is Seaside Village, the sign for the Seaside Village homes. It's right past what used to be Sea Breeze Apartments in the corner of Atlantic Street in Arniston. So if I'm going to walk back, give you a little lesson on, a little history lesson on Seaside Village. So when I grew up, grew up here since I was 10 months old. And right on here, you have these pillars right here on Arniston Avenue. There's a pillar here, there's a pillar here, stone pillar. And across the street, the entrance to Forest Court, another pillar. Very curious. People seem to just walk right by these things, have no idea what they are, they stand for. There's these metal hooks on either side, a concrete slab on the top. Right? When we were little kids, we used to sit on top of these things. And it's the entrance, like I said, it's the entrance to Forest Court. Boom. That's across the street. It also has the metal hooks on the side, maybe for some kind of gating system. But Richard Teller Crane, like I said, president and owner of the Crane Company, which was a Chicago-based company that made brass fittings, sort of like what Jenkins Valves makes, plumbing fixtures and the like. Very big back in the turn of the century. 1910 was operation in Bridgeport. So I'm looking back here. Those stone pillars were the entrance to his estate. He had a mansion down in this area. So if you walk into Forest Court, and you notice it curves around, goes straight, and then it curves. There's a green right in Forest Court, right in front of the Piccinino's house. The Piccininos are a family that have been here since I was born. So Mrs. Piccinino actually still living, and she's still occupying 26 Forest Court. So I'm going to take you around. I'm going to show you how the court curves around this peculiar green here. Now the green, like I said, comes in entrance, and then it curves around here. Then it enters, and then it becomes Forest Street. Back when his estate was built here, the Crane estate, most likely right about the lot here. The lot where I used to play football, like I said, and the lot right next to my new residence. And right on this green, at this point right here, there used to be a circular, sort of like maybe like a fountain area, or something like a statue to house. So it actually curved around, complete circle around. So when they built Seaside Village, they kept the curve on one side of that circular island as approaching the estate. So when you look like this, and then you curve here, and then you look back here, so his estate was probably in this area here, right in the middle of the lot. This lot also used to, at one point, house Bridgeport Original Little League. And Bridgeport Original Little League, I can show you, was, if I walk along Forest Street here, there's a gate inside Seaside Village that enters into the lot. So if I open the gate, go into the lot, here is my new residence here. My current maintenance shed. Some of the equipment they have: sanders, cranes. This is the old stomping grounds, babe. It's where I learned how to play basketball. The old basketball court. No longer play basketball here. In fact, when I was a little kid, they stopped us playing basketball here because what would happen was all the kids from Marina Village would come down here. If the basketball courts were filled in Marina Village, they would come here and then occupy the one basketball court that we had. Okay? So then we would be out of luck. They'd be playing basketball, usually bigger kids than us, and we'd be stuck with no basketball court. So they took down the basketball hoops. Like I said, took down the basketball hoops, even when I was probably, I'm going to say about 17, 18 years old. And since then, never had any basketball courts. Here's the former site of Bridgeport Original Little League. Still the stone slabs from the original dugouts. This here was one dugout on one side. This little area over here, you see the division where the dugout stopped. This was the area for the press. They had the announcers and that kind of stuff in here. And they would sit behind a fence. Actually, Mr. Piccinino was a fantastic play-by-play guy. And like I said, he would sit inside this area here, call play-by-play. Then I don't know if the other stone slab for the other dugout is still here, but doesn't look like it. But on this side over here was another dugout. Look, there's still a pole still here. And some old fencing. Look at this. Some old fencing still in between these trees. And one of the old poles. Wow. From the old dugout. Which was probably right about here. It's crazy, man. Stuff is still here. These big trees we used to climb. Before these apartments were here, there was a big mansion over here. Well, what we considered a mansion. Big brick building owned by Barrow, B-E-R-O. I think they were in property management or real estate business. They had an office up on Fairfield Avenue and Arniston Avenue. And they lived here. They had a daughter. And she was friends kind of with my sister. So this big tree was cut down at one point. It was a massive tree. So I walk along the border of Seaside Village lot. And so this is running around this area here. This is where, so if I'm looking back at the backstop area, and then around here you had your outfield fence. Outfield fence went around, curved around. There was a scoreboard out the middle. Right now they have a community garden set up there, so people can go from Seaside Village and grow their own fruit and their own vegetables, that kind of thing. There's a dog walk over here now. We made a dog walk, but you can still see the flooding. This is the flooding that used to happen when we were kids. Happened in the outfield, left field of the baseball field also, until they finally moved the Bridgeport Original Little League moved down to Seaside Park because of the flooding. But at one time we used to play baseball here. So now I'm walking along the edge of the property. This is all still Seaside Village here. And from this property alone, you can see that's Atlantic Street. And there's Seaside Park right there. There's one of the ball fields right on Atlantic Street. This was my stomping grounds right here. This parking lot right next to us at one time was overgrown with bamboo and weeds. And we used to hop this fence right here. And it was just dense bamboo here, all in this lot here. We used to make forts. Everybody had their own fort. We had like a community fort where we were all gathered in, and we would come down here during the day and have a lot of fun. Nobody would bother us. One time somebody burnt the fort down. I think it was some kids from Marina, because the Marina kids were jealous of us that we had stuff like this around. I guess one of the kids found out about the forts, and they came down and they burned the fort down. But here's, walking right up to the fence, here's the property. I know at one time Bassett Company used to park in here, or Trio, it was another company named Trio, and they used to park in here too. But it also that used to be Trio over there, that building. So they used to park in here at one point until it was overgrown. So this is Seaside Village, what we used to call the lots. And like I said, I'm not going to walk that way because it's flooded still. Still gets flooded down here. This is the site where Yale came down. Students from Yale, and they had some kind of project, got some grant from the state to see about, they did a study on coastal flooding or something like that. They wasted a bunch of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars wasted, to see if they could stifle the flooding, but to no avail. Very historic Seaside Village in the distance. You could see Halsey Street from here. And this is the lot where people parked. There's the Filer's house. Go along here. And the O'Donnell's here. Furco. There's a guy named Doc that used to live on the corner right there. Big fisherman guy. And then way over where we came from, that's my new place there. Very cool. All right, people, I'm gonna sign off for now. That's a little tour, a little history about Seaside Village. Very historic village. It's part of a historic district in Bridgeport, Connecticut.